And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. So guys, today I have a pickups video for you and this one is a little bit different. I got a couple of ZX Spectrum games. Now, so far, not very impressive. I mean, if you live in Europe and you like 8-bit computers, ZX Spectrum games are not that hard to find. However, the cool thing about these ones is that they are factory sealed. Now, usually I don't collect sealed games, but I got these for a very good price and I couldn't let him go. And for me, when it comes to the ZX Spectrum, it is really all about the preservation of the games. Now, before I show you these guys, if you're new on the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. So without further ado, let's take a closer look of my ZX Spectrum sealed games pickups right after this. Okay, so first off guys, ZX Spectrum games used to come in different shapes. When it comes to the actual software, the most common ones are of course cassette games. You also got floppy disks for the +3 model, and those were pretty much ports of cassette tape games. And on the American Timex models, you actually had a couple of cartridges. But again, those are ports and actually harder to find. And when it comes to the boxes, I have two different examples here. The first one is a game called Learning with Leaper. And here is a shot of the back of the game. This one is in a very good shape, and as you guys can see right here, it is factory sealed. I guess that these were old stock, and I bought them here in Portugal, but they were originally from the UK. So these cardboard boxes, like I said, they used to come in different shapes. Here is another example of another ZX Spectrum game with a cardboard box. And another one right here, so as you can see, they were very creative with the boxes. But now, about this one, this game right here, Learning with Leaper, and as the name suggests, it is an educational game. So this game was developed and published by Sierra in 1983. It also got ports for the ColecoVision, the Atari 8-bit family, and the Commodore 64. And this game actually got an award in 1984 as the best educational game of that year. Now here's the thing, is this game good? Is it fun to play? Not really. But like I said, it's all about the preservation. So you can play this game with both the keyboard and or the joystick. And what this is pretty much a collection of mini games where you have a coloring game, a math count game, a spelling game where you organize letters in order to produce words, and a maze type chasing game. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it is a very basic game. Now, if you live in America, I think that this is a fairly easy game to get for the ColecoVision. But I never tried that one out, so it is what it is. So, the first game that I have for you guys, Learning with Leaper. Now, the second game, and this is one that I've never heard about it before. It is a game called Mars Sport. And as you can see right here, this is how the cassette tapes were released. This is the original price right here, in pounds, and nothing very special on the back. But so I can give you guys another example, this is another example of a cassette tape game, but these came in these double jewel boxes, if you will. And here is a comparison side by side. But now about this game Mars Sport, I was actually very impressed with this game. So this is a science fiction game released in 1985. It was published by Gargoyle Games in the UK and Drosoft in Spain. Now the cool thing about this game is actually the plot. So the game is set in the year of 2494 and during the last 70 years, Earth has been under siege by the insectoid alien Sept. Sept has been kept away from his goal thanks to a force sphere that surrounds the Earth and the Moon. However, Sept is on the verge of discovering how to breach the sphere, so it's up to Commander John March, the protagonist, to retrieve Sept's plans and save the world. Now, the mechanics and the graphics of the game are actually very impressive. The thing is that it might not look very impressive now, guys, but you need to take into account that this is 1985, I mean, we're talking about pre-NES. And taking into account the limitations of the ZX Spectrum, this was very impressive back in the day. So there are three distinct objectives in the game. The first one is to locate the M central computer, the second one is to gain access to the original sphere plans, and the third one is to leave the city of Marsport in Mars with the plans intact. And another thing that I found out about this game, which was very unusual at the time, is that this is actually a long game. It is not one of those games where you can just finish in an hour or two. Again guys, it was impressive for the ZX Spectrum. This game also got a port for the Amstrad CPC. Now the second one, this is a game, again, I never heard about it before. It's a game called Action Force. Again, right here, the original price tag, and these were actually sold at Toys R Us. Now, about Action Force. So what this is, it is a G.I. Joe game. It was developed by the Gang of Five and published by Virgin Games. It got original releases for the ZX Spectrum in 1987, and it also got ported for the Commodore 64 in the same year, and an Amstrad CPC port in the year after. So, about the plot of the game. Cobra, the evil guys, have launched a surprise attack on the island of Botsnida. In the panic of the evacuation, classified information has been left behind in the eastern sector. An Action Force team must cross to the eastern side of the island in a modified AW Striker to retrieve the data. Their path must be safely cleared of enemies and obstacles. So as you can imagine, this is an action shooting game. But the unique thing about this version right here, the ZX Spectrum 1, is that this version is very different from the other ports. And this is something that it was kinda common in ZX Spectrum games. I mean, the versions that you will play on the ZX Spectrum were very unique. So on this game, for example, on the Amstrad CPC and Commodore 64 ports, you control an helicopter equipped with missiles and bombs. While on this ZX Spectrum version, you play as Snake Eyes, which is equipped with a helipack and an automatic rifle. Now this game got a sequel, Action Force 2, which was released in 1988. Oh, 88. I was born in 88. I'm old. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't enjoy this game a lot, but you know, it's fun to have it on the collection. Now, the last one, and I saved the best for last. From these picks right here, guys, this was the only one that I knew about. I actually got a pirated copy of this one, and it is a very fun game, but now I have the original thing, and it is sealed. This is one of the most iconic ZX Spectrum games, and I'm talking about Camelot Warriors. Here is a close-up of the front of the game, and a close-up of the back with some gameplay footage. And as you can see right here, guys, I could be wrong, but I think that you can actually play this cassette in both the ZX Spectrum models and the Amstrad family line. Now about this game, and this game was originally developed in Spain, and still to this day it is one of the most iconic video games ever created in Spain. It was originally programmed in 1985 and developed and published by Dynamic Software. It got original releases on the ZX Spectrum, MSX and Amstrad CPC in 1986. And it also got a port on the Commodore 64 that was published by Oprasoft. So what makes this game so special, guys? What makes this game special? It is its originality. I gotta say that it is one of the most creative games that I've ever played, and I'm not just talking about ZX Spectrum games. And this is why I love the ZX Spectrum. I mean, I didn't grow up with the system, but it is very fun to explore. And what fascinates me about the library of the ZX Spectrum is that, you know, back in the day, the users, the consumers of the machines, were actually the ones that were developing great games, and this one is a very solid example. So the plot of the game, you play as a rock star musician from the 20th century that falls asleep at his house while watching medieval fantasy movies. And I'm not kidding, that is the plot of the game, but it has a little twist. On his dreams, he awakens in the time of King Arthur and Camelot, and he has a quest to find 4 unknown items that must be destroyed: the Otherworld Voice, the Knowledge Mirror, the Life Drink, and the Fire that does not burn. After he finds them, he must deliver these items to the guardians of each 4 territories so they can destroy them. So yeah, it is a little bit twisted, but you got to admit it, guys, this is very original. And about the gameplay, well, this is an action platformer adventure fantasy game. You have 4 different levels, and each level has one of the 4 items that must be collected and given to the level guardian in order to progress to the next stage. So it's pretty basic on that sense, but I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers, but the ending of this game is mind-blowing. And another thing that I want to talk about this game is actually the soundtrack. You know, music on the ZX Spectrum was one of the hardest things to accomplish, but the intro score of this game, it is amazing. I mean, listen to this. Yeah, it doesn't get much more Celtic 8-bit than that. And Camelot Warriors still got a cult following around it. There are actually a couple of fan-made remakes of this game. Never played those, but you can easily find them online. So yeah, I'm very happy to own this game, definitely one of the crown jewels of my ZX Spectrum collection. So yeah guys, these were my sealed ZX Spectrum picks, and that's all I have for you today. But before you go, please let me know in the comment section below if you are a ZX Spectrum collector. Also let me know if you were around during the 80s and if you played the ZX Spectrum back in the day, and if you ever heard about any of these games right here. Let me know on the comment section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.